Hello, all my crafty friends. Welcome back to Scrapping the Stash with Gail, Chronicles of the Craft Room. Today, we are going to do the third video in Creative Compass, a scrap map series. And we're going to be able to look at the layout we've been working on and decide on papers and embellishments. Now, for some of us, this can be the part that we get stuck on, maybe the part that we worry about the most, or just where we kind of slow down our creative juices a little bit. So, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks and maybe some things that will help you jumpstart and make your selections just a little bit easier. So, I hope you enjoy this video. So here we are at my craft desk. This is what I've landed on. It's kind of a collaboration between what I liked most about all the sketches. Now, I think when we get to the point in our layout process that we are now going to choose papers for the layout, I think there are so many options most of the time that we get creative block and we just don't know where to start. So there are some tried and true things that I have used in the past and that I currently use. So the first thing to consider might actually surprise you, but it's just kind of what do you feel like doing? Indulge your creative urges. Are you into mixed media right now? Put it on the page. It really is up to you. There is no right or wrong as to what you do with your scrapbook layouts. You don't need to get so stuck on matching everything color wise perfectly or the theme perfectly. This is a birthday celebration at a restaurant. You could go retro, you could go boho, you could go vintage, you could go whimsical, you could use pink. It doesn't matter. It's what you feel like doing with the layout. Maybe you've got a brand new collection that you're just itching to use. Go ahead and use it. Maybe there's a new technique you want to try. Maybe there's a newfound style that you're just dying to implement in a layout. Why not this one? A very practical thing to consider also is what do you have available to you? What's in your stash? Does your layout have a theme? Is it about travel? Is it about a season? Is it about a birthday celebration? That really helps you make those decisions about what kind of papers or what kind of embellishments to use. You can always add textures and backgrounds from the environment. The restaurant that we were at is kind of like a brewery bar and grill, and you can see in the pictures here that it has brick walls and lots of wood elements and industrial kind of feel to it. So you could absolutely recreate that mood with your background papers. Maybe if this was a garden party, you could use linens and florals just to kind of create the mood of the story about the layout. And that's kind of what we mean when we're talking about considering style. So, what's the mood or emotions of the moment? The last two things I want to talk about, which is what I use when I am trying to pick out and figure out at least background papers and embellishments for my layouts, is that I consider patterns and solids. So I definitely want to have a variety of scale. That means you want some larger elements and then some smaller elements. You want differences and things that definitely complement. So that means you want some linear items. You want some horizontal items. You want to also consider your mood and feel of the page. This is a masculine birthday celebration. So considering that, and then where we were in a bar and grill that has brick and wood. Also look at the colors in my photos and consider what colors might be make these photos pop or complement these. Refer back to the keywords in your journaling. So if you remember the journaling for this layout, we talked about it being a birthday, beer and wings, because that's what we had, family. We talked about enjoying each other's company. So all of those words make it feel warm and cozy and inviting, makes you feel joy. So those are kind of the other things to consider. What would portray those feelings and those things um, coming off the page with this layout? So with this layout, I've decided to go ahead with the mood and feel of the environment and use brick and wood grains. Plus, it's going to kind of represent a masculine feel, which is what and a masculine adult feel, which is what I'm going for with this layout. And then I'm going to bring in birthday embellishments. That way it's not too whimsical, too much on a childlike look or feel. So with that said, I just went ahead and looked in my stash. I shopped my stash, dug pretty deep to find all of my brick options and my wood grain options. We're going to go ahead and start with the brick. Now I only have this little bit of the brick, but I do like the color of it, and I actually don't mind the license plates on it because on these brick walls, there's all kinds of signage, and if you've ever been to a BJ's Brew House, their whole beer list is on one wall by the bar that has all these different signs that sort of resemble this kind of a look. Plus the brick in of the wall and the brick on this almost matches perfectly. I do actually have black brick, and so basically we would just be mimicking the background that my pictures, my photos are already laying on. Now I do have some lighter brick, this white and beige, and then kind of like more of a brown light taupe color. I definitely don't like the white. I think it's too stark for the layout. So that's going to make me put this one away right away. So this one is almost the same, although it does have a little bit more of a warmer tone to it than the stark white. And I think that with the lighter color, I do think that these pictures would pop off the page though, especially if I added some darker wood grain. I still think that these pictures would pop off really, really nicely, and maybe even better with the cream color. Decisions. But then once you put one of these on there, see how the pictures kind of start fading into the background, even though it matches the coloring well. The pictures, because these colors are in the pictures, even with the white, they kind of blend into the background. But you bring this taupey color back in, and see how now they just pop more off the background. But anyway, you get the, yeah, I really like this color, this brick color. So let's try to bring in some of the wood grains that I have. So here's a darker wood grain. This is more photorealistic, so I don't think that this is going to cut it for me. The styles don't match. This is a darker wood grain, and it's more realistic. There's not a lot, it's a very subtle wood grain, so there's not a lot of differences in the grains. So that might actually work a little nicer and not be so distracting. So that's definitely a contender. This one has a little bit of a shape to it, which might add a little bit more texture and some interest. matches well. The tones are kind of the same. Like this isn't gray, it's a warm brown, and this is kind of a taupey brown. I do enjoy the shape of this. It's not just a vertical piece where this is horizontal. It actually brings in some different angles than the linear layout of my photos. I have this wood grain, and you can see bringing this, I'll get this out of the way because I keep the color. You can look at this and tell right away that the tones in this are warmer than the tones in this. I don't think that this is going to work as well as the other choices that we have. Here is a lighter version of that same piece that I just had in here. This is too yellow, in my opinion. And the last one I have is more of this blonde, light wood, which actually I think matches fairly decently. And if you're getting closer to liking it, put it right underneath and right on top, underneath the brick here. Get rid of that zip strip so that we can see it. That actually doesn't bother me. I kind of like that. So let's put these pictures on here. Now, to me, the photos on this side are darker than the photos on this side. So I'm wondering if we would need to go with a darker wood grain on this side and the lighter brick on the other side. So let's try this darker brick with the, see what a difference that makes. These pictures now are just popping right off the page with that darker brown. And then these are popping off with the brick. So you see how going through your selection, trying to figure out mood and feel for the page, recreate the environment that these pictures were taken in, and then considering the darkness of your photos, darker light, looking at different tones, and then also considering textures. And then also I've got horizontal plus a little bit of vertical going through here and there. And then if I'm going to use this wood grain, it's got the the horizontal, or we could make it vertical. Either way it would work because it's really looking really nice with this. Then because we've got contrasting colors, dark and lighter photos, we can then bring in this darker wood grain to create some more contrast and make our photos pop off the paper. I was having a very difficult time working between the need for this to be dark on this background on this side and light background on this side. I could not, for my eye, find the continuity between the pages. And so what I've decided to do is, and I know I want brick. And remember this first brick that we found, I can't stop thinking about it because it matches perfectly. It has the blue in it. It has the red in it. It has all the colors that are in the photos in this brick. So I wanted to try to figure out a way to use, and this is all I have. This is it. This strip right here is all I have. So I wanted to find a way to utilize this as sparingly as possible while keeping the continuity of the background being light. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to matte this hero photo and this photo with this darker wood grain paper. And then I'm going to make a banner for these photos so that it lays against this wood grain, but still allows the background some continuity. Now, how I'm going to use this. I'm going to try something I've never done before, which is kind of exciting. Like I said, use a new technique, right? So depending on where these land over here, right? So say they're here. Okay. So what I thought I would do is make cuts in the paper and put this peeking out from behind the wood, almost like the wood has been chipped away to reveal the brick. Once I make the hole, um, the negative space in this wood for this to come through, I will ink around that hole in this paper so that it looks like there's a shadow, and that it's layered. So I think that's going to be fun. And then I can just strategically use pieces of this around the layout, um, just in bits and pieces, so that it's not taking away from these photos like it was when we had the photos on top of it. That's kind of the process I'm going to work towards. If you're enjoying this video so far, go ahead and take a moment to boop the like button. And while you're at it, you might as well subscribe. That way you're notified anytime I post new content. Now obviously I've sped this part of the video up. We all know how to measure, cut, and paste, so I don't want to bore you. So I decided to bring in a pop of color because everything was looking and feeling a little drab, and the only color that I could really find was the navy blue shirt in that my husband was wearing. So I decided to use that as an accent color and add it to matting my hero photo of my son. And I am really glad that I decided to matte these photos on a darker wood grain. And I just love the banner with all the pictures of my grandson. I wanted to make sure I knew where my photos were laying, so I marked my wood grain paper before I started making holes in it. I started off pretty tentatively, but then I just kind of decided, nah, I'm just going to go for it. What happens, happens. So let's see how we did. Bring in the brick, bring in the photos. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. I didn't pay close attention to which way I was ripping the paper, so the white core was showing. I figured it didn't matter since I eventually was going to ink around it. When selecting an ink color, I was going to try to match the brick with a brown bag from Close to My Heart, but when I tried it, it just was too orange, so we decided to go with cocoa instead. And I like that a lot better because it matched that darker wood grain. Now, always start in the middle instead of just on the edges when you're inking edges. Otherwise, as you see those circles there, that's what you'll end up with on the paper where the inking is supposed to be. Yes, I am loving this new technique. At least it's new to me. And so I am really committing now. Out comes the tape runner. Let's get all of these pictures down, and page 1 is done. On to the next. As you can see, I have tons of 4x6 matte papers as well as journal boxes. Let's find one to go with this blue and get it on the page. How's that for scrapping the stash? Since I have very little of this brick paper, I decided to repeat the process on the second page, still keeping to the brick being on the outskirts of the layout. That way, if I do eventually have some left over, I can still add it after I'm done embellishing. You'll see me adding washi tape here. It's only because I'm covering tape runner tape that went outside the brick paper. You'll see me finagling this brick piece of paper here because of the blue license plate. It's the only blue license plate on the whole piece of paper, and I want to include it. So I am just ensuring that it will be seen once the photos are placed. At this point, I also noticed that all the photos on the left are matted in some way, so I decided maybe I need a punch of blue with these photos on this side. Well, that really didn't work out, so matting them with white and then the blue maybe? Didn't really want to keep the blue on the right side because I wanted to save it for the hero photo. So I just went ahead and brought the same wood grain paper over to the right side. And then I realized that I needed to finagle this brick paper even more because that blue license plate needed to be seen. Okay, so I think this turned out really, really nice. I love how this brick with the inking around the wood grain paper turned out. It looks so realistic, and I just love that. The happy thing is I still have pieces left over that once I embellish, if I feel like I need some more poking out other places, I can tear some more. Right off the bat, I'm thinking this might need to be a little larger. I don't know. I'm saving that, so we'll see. Definitely room though, because as you saw, there's still some behind this wood grain. I did struggle with this a little bit. I cut off the white, as you saw. I cut off the white borders, basically because I needed to cut this picture down anyway. Plus, these two were not true 3x4s, and this was not a true 4x6, so I needed to cut them down so they were equal. But when I put them back down on this light paper, they looked good, but since all of these are matted with the wood grain because I wanted it on the dark, I didn't feel the continuity over here. So I needed to bring that dark wood grain over here. So, and so I started with the blue, matting it with the blue, but decided against it because I want this to be my hero photo. So I want this to be special. And the blue is over here. And then I found, I have, as you saw, I have tons of these journal boxes. Found a blue one, wanted to use it out of my stash. I'm trying to use these up instead of making journal boxes by hand. Um, Definitely wanted to include the blue license plate. It was the only blue license plate on an entire brick. So I wanted to pull the blue in, and I just felt like I was losing space where I wanted to join this line, the bottom of this up with this picture over here to have this continuity at the bottom of the page. Small little things, I know, but it makes a big difference when you are trying to make a flow for your page. So as you saw, I adjusted the brick up here up because I knew that this was going to be covered. So wanted to make sure that I was able to include that. Once I got rid of the blue and brought this wood grain over to this side by framing this out, completely satisfied. So now I have room for embellishments in several different places on my layout. So I hope this step on the scrap map was helpful for you. With a creative compass, I really believe that every scrapbook layout that you do from here on out, if you continue to follow the stops on the map, I think that you're going to develop a style of your own, and you are going to love how your layouts are going to elevate. Don't forget all the tips and tricks that we discussed at the beginning of the video with considering colors, thinking about a theme, adding textures from the environment, considering the style, what's the mood or emotions of the moment, what's trending, what do you want to use, how do you want to scrap, new techniques, which is what I used today. Maybe you have a newfound style or a new collection or kit that you want to use. Number one, I always refer to the keywords in my journaling, which we talked about. And then I also consider the mood and trying to reflect the emotions, the mood, and the atmosphere of the event that I'm scrapbooking. Those are the two things that I usually do. So I hope that you found this video in the Creative Compass series helpful. Next, we are going to choose embellishments and work on our title and get this page finished. So I hope you stay tuned because we are going to go over embellishing and design concepts for layering embellishments and making embellishment clusters. So I hope that you join me the next video of the Creative Compass, a scrap map series. We'll see you then and keep scrapping the stash. Bye-bye for now.